You know, I've never been questioned about a toy more often than I have the Masterpiece Star Saber coming out. I've had so many people asking me, you know, are you going to get it? And will you review it? And the answer to the first one is maybe. It's really expensive and money's really tight, but I'm working on it. Yeah, and if I do end up getting it, yes, yeah, I will absolutely review it, and not in this quick little format like I'm using now. Now, we use this quick little format to talk about smaller Star Sabers. This is the Robot Masters version. This was like the only Star Saber we've had like fully like transforming since G1. That's such a shame because it is like he is an Autobot commander from the Japanese series and quite popular one too. So why he got neglected for so long, I don't know. But at least we have something in the form of the Robot Masters toy. You believe this had to hold us over 13 years before we got to the Masterpiece released? Oh my god. Okay, so it is an incredibly nice little toy. It looks quite a bit like the original Star Saber in vehicle mode. I have to hold it up because there's like absolutely no landing gear on it whatsoever. The one thing about Robot Masters, for those who have never looked into them, they did mostly release repaints. A lot of toys that weren't originally released in Japan got released that way, but they did create some brand new molds of some popular past characters, including Star Saber here. And the new molds were somewhere between deluxe and scout size, like right in the middle. So this is a really weird scaled toy. For its size, it doesn't do too bad of a job replicating the vehicle mode of the original. There's a few shortcuts here and there. You can see the exposed elbows from the simplification of the transformation, but it definitely looks like Star Saber to me. Doesn't it look like Star Saber to you? We have the cockpit there, of course, and there's the helmet, which is cheating a little bit because it's supposed to be pointed forward, and then the guns are supposed to point forward. But, you know, whatever works. It's a smaller scale toy. There's a lot of little tricks to make it work at the small size. And for what it is, I like it. I like it quite a bit. You know, and there's a little bit of paint app here. The paint deco on the wing to get the Autobot logos right. Or Cybertron logos, I guess, though mine are a little bit crooked. I've never noticed that before. Now it will bug me for eternity. Ugh. The cockpits are painted, a little bit of paint around here, a little bit of paint around here. Safety plastic. Bendy. Hard to break, but that's good. Some of the features have been removed. As you can see, the sword just kind of plugs there on the top. But we do still have this. Saber does detach. We can fold out the wings. And there's his fighter jet mode. And it's a it's a little weird. The other one is no, the original is better proportioned. It looks much more like a jet. This piece stuck up and actually looked like something. So unfortunately, it has been quite abbreviated. But it's there. I do like that they actually worked the gimmick in, because it would have been real easy to just kind of, you know, I don't know, just kind of cobble the whole thing together and just cheat the whole thing. Here, let's actually put down the tail fins so you can get it. Oh, yeah, that's much better. That's much better. That doesn't make the nose look bulbous or the cockpit look tiny at all. There we go. So that's, I guess that's the full effect there. Yeah. Take it in. That's Saber's vehicle mode. So let's actually see Saber himself, since there's really not a whole lot to talk play value-wise on these things, because the Robot Masters are just such cheap little toys. We take that off, which that is G1 accurate for parts forming. We put those back up, and then we can fold these back, and then flip over. There's Saber himself. Only 2 points of articulation, so not a whole lot to play. Well, actually, no. He does have the legs that can move outward. No knee bend, but it's basic Micromaster stuff. And he's about the size of a Micromaster. He's a tiny little guy. So we'll take a closer look at him. You can see they did paint the face, and he's got an Autobot logo on there. Of course, no Brainmaster gimmick. He's just way too small for that. So he did lose his main feature in becoming a Robot Master. He's not mastering much if he's losing abilities. But it's nice that they work that in. It's a neat little representation of Saber. And it's quite cool. So let's look at the the V star itself, separate from him. You can see the peg holes on the feet that are the thrusters in the jet mode, peg onto the back, so Saber can ride on the back of the V star in this like cosmic surfboard style. It's a fun thing to do. I'm glad they put that in, because it kind of compensates for the lack of his more represented gimmicks. A little bit of play value for you. Always a good thing. And then you drop him on the ground and break him for all eternity. So let's actually transform them. Let's get to the main event here. We will fold these up so they fold back, and we will fold the feet outward like so. The transformation is actually quite similar to the original G1 toy. It's actually quite nice. Not a real surprise, it's a G1 toy, so of course, the transformation is not all that complex to begin with. So we will form him up into the chest mode. Hang on, let me get legs bend first, because otherwise the arms get in the way. There we go, and we will put those out to form the chest. Instead of going in, there, sliding in. This is him post Witch Doctor. This is about the goofiest thing I could imagine doing with this toy. He did go helmetless, so nice that they accounted for that. I don't know. I don't know, this looks silly. We'll battle up. We fold that up, and oh, come on, there. Right over the top, just like in the anime. And there is our Star Saber, which, again, it's such a weird size. It's like a 4-inch action figure. It's a little bit, even the smaller deluxes we have now are still a good bit bigger than this. So it's always been such a bizarre size. He never quite fits in anywhere. Now, they did kind of upgrade the engineering. They did modernize some bits here and there. As you can see, he has ball-jointed hips now. It doesn't quite amount to much because he has no knees. So there's no real leg posing to do. That's unfortunate. His shoulders are ball-jointed. They can't quite move outward, but at least, you got a little bit of play in there. You got elbow. That's good. No wrist. That's bad. Waist articulation. That's very good, because I don't think with the gimmick there's any way the G1 toy could have done that, though the Masterpiece will. So I guess there was a way for that to happen. Because of the modern stylings, though, because they were reworking the engineering anyway, he is far more anime accurate. He's got some nice proportions here. His chest goes out, his waist goes in. Everything looks quite a bit nicer than the original toy did with his super blocky vestige. And this is just a really nice and really nice desk-sized representation of Star Saber. You see all the extra paint apps that are visible now. That for the the little bit of gold for the chest and the knees and feet they've all been done in their proper colors. And Star Saber's head himself, the horns are a little bit thicker, so they will not break at this size. That's good. A little bit shorter. He's got kind of a cutesy anime look to him a little bit. His face is not quite as mean or serious as it usually is. He's very wide-eyed and just kind of happy with life. And that's how we should all be. Now let's get to the parts that I had to take off. We'll flip the handle out here. Plug the sword into that little peg, and we'll make him a righty here. Okay, and there we go. Star Saber with his signature sword, all ready to handle pretty much anything thrown at him, so long as his knees don't have to bend to handle it. The sword is super soft safety plastic, so it will not break. It will bend if you store it incorrectly, though. So, a little bit of advisory for you on that one. It's a nice size sword, too. They did not cheap out on that. So in that part, I am happy. He also comes with a blue gun that I've currently misplaced, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't look anything like his original gun. Why would you do that? Could give him a completely new accessory, and it does not have anything to do with his old one. Oh well. But I guess in a nutshell, that is the Robot Master Star Saber. It is a very simple toy, but it also is upgraded from the G1 in some ways, and then downgraded in some ways, and he does kind of show how cheap the new Robot Master's molds actually were. But for that, he's still a nice representation of Star Saber, and he does everything he absolutely has to do. So I guess for the time it came out and for the price it came out in, it was a nice way of being reminded just how badass this character was. And yep, now we're all just waiting eagerly for the Masterpiece. Except my wallet. My wallet is definitely not eagerly waiting for the Masterpiece, but who cares what my wallet wants?